The main guy Sakamoto, who was a professional assassin, falls in love with a convenience store worker, Aoi, retires from being an assassin, marries her, have a kid, Hana, and gets fat. He starts working in a convenience store too, but one day his former partner, Shin, comes to see him and tries convincing him to come back, but Sakamoto refuses as he is now spending a whole different life. Shin was sent by his boss to kill Sakamoto as he broke one of their gang rules, so Shin realizes that someone else would get sent after Sakamoto if he doesn't kill him, so agrees to do it himself. He arrives the next day and attacks Sakamoto, but Sakamoto fights back and defeats him easily. Shin later wakes up in that shop's upper floor, and Sakamoto lets him eat dinner with his family, which makes Shin realize how good a normal life can be. He goes back to his boss and asks them to forgive Sakamoto, and chooses to die himself in his place, but when the boss thinks that he would just send someone else after Sakamoto, Shin reads his mind through his ability and attacks the boss instead. He gets into a fight with them and uses his mind-reading ability to fight, but gets shot in the leg. Suddenly Sakamoto arrives and saves him. He fights the gangsters using convenience store items and defeats them easily, and finally defeats the boss too. He had bugged Shin's gun earlier to find him, and now gives him a job at his convenience store for 800 yen an hour. Shin starts reading minds to find what the customers want, and wasn't allowed by Sakamoto to tell anyone about his hitman job. Sakamoto tells Shin that he didn't kill the boss and his minions, as Aoi made him promise not to kill anyone anymore. Shin and Sakamoto go out to buy meat buns for Hana. Suddenly a girl, Lu Xiaotang, escapes from some gangsters that ruins the meat buns, while Sakamoto, Shin and Lu beat those gangsters, but more start coming so they escape. The CEO of Dan finds out that she escaped as he sent the gangsters after her. Suddenly an assassin, Bacho, beheads a gangster, while his brother, Sun He, appears too, so the CEO talks about how he got Lu's entire family killed, and tells the brothers to capture Lu too, saying she has a key which will help them rule the black market. Lu tells Sakamoto and Shin that she's from the famous mafia family, the Lu family, but her family was raided, and she escaped with the key to her family's secret safe. Sakamoto finds out she can cook meat buns, so tells her that he'll help her if she starts working for him. Suddenly Bacho and Sun appear and send Sakamoto away. Lu reveals that Bacho and Sun are two assassin brothers who behead their victims and take their heads home to sketch them. Bacho attacks Lu but Sakamoto comes back and saves her. Then Bacho and Sun use their final attack but Sakamoto dodges every attack. Then they use their final attack, but Sakamoto beats them both up one by one. They arrive at the vault, where Lu beats up the CEO, then opens the vault using her key and finds the treasure of all kinds inside, including the everyday stuff. They eat the smashed meat buns there, and later Lu starts working in the convenience store too. Meanwhile at the Japanese Association of Assassins, the JAA, Sakamoto gets the bounty of 1 billion yen on his head. At convenience store, an old friend of Sakamoto, Nagumo, who can disguise himself as others, tells Sakamoto about the 1 billion yen bounty on his head. Suddenly an assassin, Nakajima, comes as a pizza man to kill Sakamoto for the bounty, but gets defeated easily, while Nagumo tells Sakamoto that even more dangerous assassins would come after him from now on, and leaves with Nakajima. Nakajima had placed a secret camera on the pizza, from where his assassin group, Dondenkai, is watching, while one of them talks about Sakamoto being part of a group called the Order once. Sakamoto finds the camera, tells Dondenkai to attack him and he'll show them hell, and shoots the camera. Next day they go to an amusement park, where Shin reads the mind of a member of Dondenkai, Kuri, so informs Sakamoto, who knocks him out, while Lu and Shin hide his body. Second member of Dondenkai, Tatsu, then follows them without letting Shin read his mind, and gets on a roller coaster, but Shin and Lu figure out he was an enemy because of his character design, so Shin takes him off the coaster to fight him himself. Tatsu ruins Shin's vision, but Shin reads Sakamoto's mind and lands with Tatsu in a stage show on Sakamoto's order. Shin disguises himself as Sugar Bunny mascot, and fights Tatsu even with his bad vision, as he was following whatever Sakamoto was telling him to do by reading his mind. He defeats Tatsu with a dropkick, and gets cheered by everyone. Later Tatsu tells them that he's from Dondenkai, but Aoi and Hana appear so they leave without killing him. Shin tells Sakamoto that he can't read minds for some time because of the medicine he took to turn his eyes normal, while two more assassins from Dondenkai, Boiled and Abiguro, meet Tatsu, and are going for Sakamoto too. Sakamoto's group goes to a haunted house next, where an assassin attacks Sakamoto but he defeats him, while Boiled and Abiguro were watching through cameras. Boiled remembers that he once met Sakamoto at Japan Clear Creation, JCC, where hitmen are trained, and he and Sakamoto started staying as a team, but on Valentine's Day Sakamoto received chocolates from a lot of other trainee assassins, and refused to recognize Boiled as his partner, because he had no aura. Now Sakamoto's group gets attacked by some zombies, and Boiled takes Sakamoto somewhere else to fight him, while Abiguro fights Shin and Drunk Lu. Abiguro makes zombies capture Shin and tells Lu to hit her once every 10 seconds, or Shin would get sliced by the chainsaw, but Lu just gives up. Boiled beats Sakamoto up using his signature ball bombs and rocket dynamite punch, and tells Sakamoto he fell off, but Sakamoto comes out of the dust and was thin like before again. Lu was winning against Abiguro but gets out of her drunk state, but Abiguro was happy as it had been a while since someone pushed her limits that much. Sakamoto brings Boiled out of the haunted house while beating him up, breaks his rocket dynamite punch, and beats him with his own signature ball bombs. They both crash on a Ferris wheel, where Boiled recognizes Sakamoto as the stronger one, and loses. They both get along and Shin finds them. Suddenly Aoi finds out about the 1 billion bounty on Sakamoto's head, but just tells Sakamoto not to keep secrets according to family rules. A day later Sakamoto gains weight again, and takes Shin and Lu to an information bank for assassins, that are in the form of movies, and finds out about Dondenkai group. They find out Dondenkai has more than 50 assassins, and find out about their base, and then someone dies with knife stabs to the head. Sakamoto pays 756,000 yen for watching that movie, while the owner, who knew Sakamoto from before, tells him that someone from his past might be involved with this whole situation. Nagumo was having dinner with 3 fellow assassins, Hyo, Shishiba, and Osaragi. Hyo suspects that Nagumo was lying about not meeting Sakamoto again, while Iraya, an official from JAA, comes and calls them the Order, the group Sakamoto is a former member of, while Hyo says there are 4 more members who haven't arrived yet, so 8 members in total. Iraya tells the Order that someone is assassinating some members of JAA, and tells them to find and get rid of that assassin. Sakamoto's group goes to the Dondenkai base and manages to sneak into the boss room, but finds Nagumo there. He says that he just wanted to ask Dondenkai about the JAA assassinations, but everyone there was already dead when he arrived. arrived. He tells Sakamoto's group that over 100 assassins of JAA have been killed, so the Order, which is the special force within JAA that deals with everything wrong that happens with JAA, is sent to solve the matter. The mysterious assassin kills more members of JAA, and realizes he didn't draw the cross sign symmetrically. Later an assassin Mashimo and his parrot Pisuke appear to kill Sakamoto, but Sakamoto lies that he doesn't know who Sakamoto is, so Mashimo just leaves. Later at a paintball tournament, where the winning prize is 1 million yen, Shin and Sakamoto join to try fixing the convenience store, while Mashimo is also there and joins Sakamoto's team, as 2 to 5 players have to be in a team to enter, as he also wants money to get out of poverty. The event starts, and Mashimo eliminates 4 people himself in an instant, though he finds out that Sakamoto over there was the same Sakamoto he wanted to assassinate because of Lu's drunk cheering, so turns on Sakamoto and Shin, and uses a real gun to fight. He starts using triple rebound rounds to make them ricochet around after knowing Sakamoto's and Shin's location through Pisuke, and remembers that he was only good at shooting, so never really gets any mission done well, so made his goal to capture Sakamoto to prove he's a good assassin too. Mashimo thinks using his mouth, so Shin overhear him and says you have to be satisfied with your stuff yourself rather than trying to satisfy others, and shocks Mashimo to find his location, while Sakamoto throws a pebble at Mashimo which breaks his shotgun. Later Sakamoto, Shin and Mashimo win the 1 million yen, but they only get 50 yen each, as the rest of it went to fixing the mess they made while fighting. Later Sakamoto and Aoi go to Hana's school, while Shin and Lu have a fight over Shin's mind-reading ability, as Lu was annoyed that Shin can read anyone's mind anytime he wants, which is weird, so Shin leaves the store. Lu wears Shin's apron to stay as a cashier. Suddenly some lab guys, led by Tanaka, appear and take Lu away by reading Shin's name on the apron, thinking she was Shin, as they were after Shin's mind-reading ability. Sakamoto returns and tracks Lu's location to go after the van, and beats up the NPC guys, while the driver, Seiba, goes up to the roof to fight Shin. Seiba turns invisible, beats up Shin, and bombs Sakamoto's bike, while the tracker stops working, but Shin already knew about their base, as he was once experimented on in their lab to get the mind-reading ability. They go to the science museum where the base is hidden, while Tanaka shows Lu to their boss, Kashima, saying that was actual Shin, but Seiba tells Kashima the truth and both Lu and Tanaka get sent away. Shin and Sakamoto try entering through a secret passage. Suddenly some security bears and a dinosaur attack them, but Sakamoto beats them up. They meet some scientists whom Shin knew, who tell them that a year ago, an assassin group, led by Kashima, took over their lab to discover any new killing weapon that would be better than knives and guns, so all the scientists are forced to work for him. Suddenly the floor leader, Horiguchi, arrives and uses an injection on Shin to mess his speech pattern up a bit, but Sakamoto punches him away. Lu and Tanaka were locked in prison with the director of the lab, Asakura, who offered them to break out with him, while outside, Shishiba and Osaragi of the Order arrive at the museum too. Horiguchi injected Sakamoto to make him attack his friends when thinking about attacking enemies, so Sakamoto just reverses it by thinking of punching Shin. Asakura tells Lu that one day an old friend of his, Ando, gave him Shin to take care of and just left, while Shin started wandering around in the lab and accidentally drank something Asakura was working on, which gave him mind-reading ability. Everyone started getting creeped by him as he could read everyone's minds, but Shin was still fine with that ability. Now Asakura uses a chemical to break out of the cell with Lu and Tanaka. Horiguchi gets into his final form, but Sakamoto still defeat him. The scientists remove the injection needles from their bodies, and they start going to the lower floors to save Lu and Asakura, but Sakamoto falls into a hole. Kashima was in the basement with 2 sub-leaders, Onigahara and Takamito, while Shishiba and Osaragi were there too. Shishiba says they were there to find someone named Slur, as he might be related to the JA assassinations, but since there's illegal stuff going on there by Kashima, they'll have to deal with it too. Onigahara and Takamito were going to attack Shishiba, but Osaragi kills them in an instant. Kashima cries as Onigahara and Takamito lost their precious lives, then attacks Shishiba, but Shishiba twists his head. Though Kashima gets up as his skeleton is man-made, suddenly Sakamoto falls down there and meets Shishiba, who introduces him to the new member Osaragi. Sakamoto fights Kashima, while Shishiba and Osaragi leave to find Slur. Seiba fights Shin and was winning, but Shin puts his blood on Seiba. Suddenly Mashimo appears and shoots him, as Pisuke found them there. Though Seiba hits Mashimo with an invisible attack, as it's the suit that makes things invisible, but Mashimo attacks a fire extinguisher on the ceiling that damages the suit, which lets Shin deliver the final blow to defeat him. Suddenly the lab starts exploding as it was on auto in case something starts going wrong, and would take 20 minutes for the whole lab to get destroyed, but Sakamoto only asks for 5 minutes. He fights Kashima with everyday life stuff, and both get on a train while fighting, where Sakamoto turns slim to blend in, and hits Kashima with a fatal attack. Kashima remembers he was once following his ideology of eliminating bad people from society by killing them, but people thought of him as weird still. Suddenly Slur killed all those people and offered Kashima to work under him, as he understands complex human ideologies. Sakamoto and Kashima then fight more, and Kashima sends Sakamoto to another train, but Sakamoto runs all the way to the back to get back, and finally beats him up and leaves at the station. He tells Shin that the lab would collapse in 15 minutes, and throws Kashima in a trash truck. Shin's group finds Lu's group, and they split up to rescue the people in the lab, while Asakura was proud of the way Shin was using his ability. Shishiba and Osaragi find out that Slur really was involved in that case too, while Shin and Asakura split up to rescue more people. Suddenly Shin finds Slur there, who tells Shin to say hi to Sakamoto, and leaves. Later they rescue all the scientists who were glad at Shin's glow up, and stuff go back to normal. Next day they go to a sauna to get rid of the tiredness, but the manager, Yutaro, recognizes Sakamoto and tries using different sauna features to make him lose his guard to capture him for the bounty, but Sakamoto enjoys everything instead. Yutaro then gets in a fight with his former assassin partners, but Sakamoto saves him without making it obvious and leaves, which makes Yutaro finally leave his assassination life thoughts to keep managing the sauna. Later Sakamoto, Shin and Lu go to a restaurant. Suddenly Wutong, the advisor of Lu Mafia, appears and asks Lu to return to China to become the new head, as her parents were dead who were the previous heads, but Lu refuses as she likes her new life better. Wutong challenges Sakamoto where if Wutong wins, he'll win Lu and take her back, but if Sakamoto wins, Wutong will tell him who put the 1 billion yen bounty on his head. Wutong takes them to an underground casino, where he gives Sakamoto 30 million yen in chips, and says whoever makes more money in 2 hours, wins. wins. Wutong uses strategies to win, Shin reads others' minds to win, Sakamoto uses different techniques to win, and in the end it was a tie somehow. To break the tie they play a game where whichever team has a jester in the end, loses. Shin tries reading Wutong's mind but there was so much in it that he faints, and one by one everyone loses all the cards and goes out of the game with only Sakamoto and Wutong left. Wutong takes the final card but Sakamoto replaces it with jester to win. Suddenly the mafia members revolt as they can just use force to win, but get defeated a bit too easily. Wutong becomes a worker for some time to help Sakamoto's group catch up on what they missed because of him, and tells Sakamoto that it's Slur who put the bounty on his head. He also found out that there are 4 people working for Slur who are currently in Japan and are pretty dangerous. Kashima meets those 4 people, dumps Saw apart and Minimalist, and gives them a list of people they have to kill, including Nagumo and Sakamoto, on Slur's order. Minimalist asks for 1 month to kill everyone on the list, and tells Kashima to bring a new list after a month, or they'll go on a killing spree in Japan, to make people subscribe to the channel. Finally, Sakamoto was looking forward to meeting those 4, as he could get closer to Slur by that,